Alrighty, good night. About to head to the gym. About to get it in. Wanted to make a video about, let me turn this down. I wanted to make a video about aging out. I was in my own comment section underneath my last video, I think. The rise of the Uber father. And I forgot the person's name, but you'll see the comment. There's only 2 comments under there, so but the rise of the Uber father figure, actually. And it's really just, you know, the various aspects of a father, but, you know, is via social media. You know, you're Jordan Peterson, you're Andrew Tate, or the Tate brothers. You know, various people that, you know, teach you about the game, teach you about, you know, how to, you know, get better with game, how to talk to women and all this other stuff. You know, past the uncle, past the father, the uncle, the stepdad. You know, this is daddy a la carte, or the father figure a la carte. So these father figures, so to speak, or these Uber father figures are out there, and a lot of people are watching them and taking notes from them. Now, with that being said, in that conversation that I had on the comment section there, I started mentioning, like, you know, we're aging out as millennials. You know, like, the oldest of us in terms of millennials is 40 years old. You know, if you're born in 1982, I was born in 85, so I'm 36 going on 37. I'll be 37 in a couple months, right? Or reach that marker. So when you start to think about it like that, then you start to think like, whoa, dating is different at that age, right? You know, all the usual requirements where women talk about, hey, listen, I have my own, you should have your own too. It's even more so, right? Like, not you should have your own for her or anything like that, or to get a woman, but now it's a totally different dynamic. Like, things are really starting to quote unquote flip. So this also came up and, you know, popped in my head while I was watching porn. Anyways, so I'm watching, like, you know, I'm looking at this chick, and then I'm seeing how, like, you know, how she used to look, right? Watching older videos and shit like that. And I'm just like, whoa. Like, you see everything now, but then when you start to see, like, holy shit, that's what you used to look like? Like, all right, cool, because, you know, I like them big. You know, I like them, like, you know, hey, you know, a couple rolls here and there. Like, I don't mind. Fuck it. It is what it is. It's what gets me going. But you start to see, like, okay, when you were younger, body was tighter. Or not tighter, but, you know, it was like not fat. It was like, you know, chubby, kind of cute. Like, you had a little bit of a pudge. You know, like, you was right on that borderline, or kind of right over the borderline, but you could still step back into snapping back and, you know, having a flat stomach and all this other stuff. And big old titties and a nice old ass and all this other shit. I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy shit, this bitch has got to be at least like 30 something now, right? And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? This is a turning point for you, ma'am. Keep going though. Right? You know, like, keep going, whatever. But it's a turning point. And then, you know, you start to also think about, like, okay, as you get older as a man, the other side of it, again, aging out. As you get older as a man, now you're starting to reach your peak earning potentials, your 30s, your mid to late 30s, right? Now I'm talking about, like, hey, listen, what I'm pulling down. I mean, I was talking to my CPA today, and she projected just, you know, to ran a real quick calculation on what my taxes would be with the earning that I expect to get, or hopefully I can maintain next year. And she pretty much said that, you know, my taxes alone will be somebody's salary. You know, like, taxes would be like $145K federal and another $28K just to the state. So you're looking at $173,000 just in taxes. Now, there are things you can do. Shout out to Freeman's Journal, where he mentioned the backdoor Roth and things like that. How you can actually put more in terms of contributions so you don't have to pay as much in taxes. So I will be getting deeper into that as I move forward. Hopefully I can, do that over the next weekend or two, and focus on that and actually come up with a plan as I go forward with some of the things that I'm doing. And then when it comes to maintaining, protecting your money, planning for retirement, planning for the next step and phase of your life and things like that. And, not saying, oh, are the women doing this? Some are, most definitely. There's smart people everywhere on either side, everywhere. So it's like, that's definitely happening. But we have to understand that as men, we focus on ourselves. We focus on what we need to do to make sure that we're on the better side, or we're prepared as we move along. So now I'm thinking about okay, if I'm aging out, I'm getting into my 40s, dating ain't the same. For women, they would label this as dating with a purpose. For men, they were like, okay, listening to conversations with Ed, and I'm sorry I'm jumping around, but there's it was like a whole confluence of ideas, a lot of different streams, or a lot of different things that influence this, from my last video, comment section, listening to other streams, watching a flick. It's just like you start to see all these things and start to weave it all together into a bit of a tapestry of thought. Oh yeah, that sounds rich. I like that one. A tapestry of thought. A thoughtistry. But weaving all this stuff together, you start to, see a better picture, right? Because of more experience and you're a little bit more seasoned, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, aging out. Your oldest millennials turning 40 this year. Now, with your oldest millennials turning 40 and your youngest Gen Xer is pretty much out of that, right? They've already passed that point. What's going to happen next? How does dating look like as an older millennial? How does dating look like as a younger millennial that is really kind of just getting in the game, or not getting into the game, but starting to get to the latter part of that game and starting to say, okay, hey, listen, I need to put this together. Well, it looks like Austin Hollerman, right? He would be considered, a young millennial, I believe. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how the math works out. But he would be considered a younger millennial, a person that is really starting to come into his adulthood or early adulthood, coming out of the teenage years and then going into your 20s to mid-20s. Now you're starting to look at the world in a different light. Money's starting to come in. It may start to be consistent depending on where you're at mentally, IQ-wise as well. Your behavior, mannerisms, all that, play into it. Now you're starting to say, okay, well, listen, I want to start building something. When I started my first computer consulting business, my solo business, I was 22, 23 or so. Yeah, around that. And, I was just doing work here and there, getting a little extra money, nothing serious, right? Reformatting computers. 24 is when I linked up with my business partner, and we started our company and ran that until I was about 34. So that was 2 years ago. 2020 is pretty much what ended it, or the ending marker for that. So it's okay, now looking at me being a little bit more established, making a little bit more money now, and I'm like, okay, well, what's next? How does dating look when I'm talking to women recently? I'm talking to a lot of women recently. I guess, not, I wouldn't say it's just it's getting anywhere, I'm doing anything crazy or anything serious. But I am, I talked about the 20-year-olds. BGS is saying that I guess he mistook what I was saying, but that whole thing with BGS was saying that I actually I had sex with him or anything like that, something like that, but I really didn't. But I was just talking with him and having those conversations and talking about that whole scenario. And then recently I talked with another woman, and she's two other women that were around my age. And I'm like, whoa, one woman, I was just like, listen, there's big, and there's, she was really nice, but she was huge, man. She was just, I just stopped answering her calls. I talked to her once, and that was it. I saw the pictures, and I was like, nah. Where I thought those were curves and thighs, Jesus, that was a whole nother stomach hanging. It was crazy. It was crazy. Anyways, but dating looks different. I would say not more cutthroat. I wouldn't say I'm more cutthroat per se, but okay, yeah, maybe I could. I mean, maybe I don't have to dress it up. But dating for me now, as I'm getting into 40, it's just like, hey, listen, I want this, this, and this. All right, I'm talking to you. I'm listening for possible red flags. I'm listening for overall conversation. I'm trying to do this in good faith in terms of like, I want to see where this goes. If I match with you on a dating website or you start a conversation with me, all right, cool. Like something can go on here. But if you start to see one or two things, like this idiot trying to cross the street in the middle of the damn night, if you start to see one or two things, then you start to say, hey, listen, I'm not doing this no more. Like, I'm not going to do the whole let you down easy. It's just, yo, if anything, I'm going to block your number. Like, that's how it is. And then, especially as I'm getting older, I'm understanding the value of a younger woman instead of just growing with her and all this other stuff, the stuff that they teach you, that is, against, traditional, traditional leanings or culture or traditional methods of mating, courting, and all this other stuff. Now, as an older man, I could look at a younger woman and be like, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be controlling. I'm trying to look at it as good faith. I help and support you and all this other stuff. I don't expect you to listen to everything that I say, but at the same time, understand I'm looking out for you, blah, blah, blah. I think you see that's a little bit gynocentric still. But now it's like, hey, listen, you can either get on or you get off, and I can understand your value as a woman, as a younger woman, in terms of what you can actually bring to me in terms of children, family, overall peace, and what's next, and things like that in the latter part of my life. And it's really, it's different in the way the outlook is. And I'm seeing that, I'm seeing the behavioral change in myself as I'm aging out of the prime dating market, I'm not doing all this back and forth and, spending too much time with you on the phone. After a while, listen, man, what's next? I've been here already. I've been here for how many ever years. Now it's time we need to actually, show and prove. We need to get into some action. You know what I mean? Like, not to rush things per se, but at the same time, like, what are we doing? And that's like a question that has to be asked. That's a question that definitely has to be asked. Oh, this guy did that. Yeah, that's definitely a question that has to be asked. And a lot of people, as we, like, as millennials get older, like myself, we're going to be asking those questions. We're going to be approaching these relationships and these situations that we have with, a potential partner, mate, whatever. Oh, geez, me using the partner word. But a mate. Now we're looking at like, okay, things are a little bit more structured. I'm more structured. There's less that I have to do, or there's less effort or stress that I have to do or exert to get what I need done. Now it's just like, oh, okay, hey, listen, a woman starts talking to me about cooking and cleaning and all this other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, don't even have to worry about that. I got a cleaning lady. I can cook for myself. Like, what are you really bringing to me in terms of helping me out and furthering myself, like helping me progress in my vision? So as we date out, these things are different for men, and it's a different look for women. I would dare say, as I'm about to like get in this gym here, I would dare say, as men, we're looking at, as women, it's whatever you can get at this point. At, women the same age and stuff like that. I'm looking at women that are 36 and, they're trying to, like, 36, 42. They're trying to hold, bro, I've seen some stuff on, like, Facebook dating where it's just like, Jesus Christ, the amount of makeup that some of these women have at 40-something. I'm like, bro, some of these motherfuckers look just, they look tired, man. Like, I'm talking mortician makeup, like a more, just wow, like, it's showing, baby. It's showing. It's really showing. And then as a man, I'm looking at it like, nope, not dealing with this. Nah, I used to do that. Nope, we're not dealing with that no more. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna entertain that. You know, you say some stupid shit in your thing. I'm like, all right, fuck only. All right, cool. Not even worth doing that. All right, too many kids. You're gonna like not want too much, but you're gonna give me a whole bunch of fucking problems. Blah blah blah. So it's just this is a loose thought. I'll probably label this on the Ramble or something like that. But there's a lot of things that are just kind of hitting at one point, or hitting me at one point where I'm thinking about this stuff and I'm like, whoa, this is different. I'm moving into a different part of my life. I'm thinking about things differently. And then I'm also, a lot of the women you would see is like, there's so many in turn. I've seen so many like OnlyFans recently where I'm like, whoa, that bitch looks way different than she did even 5-10 years ago. And I'm like, this is where you're really seeing it. Like, because, you know, when you get into the realm of like sex work, prostitution, you start to see, like, especially if the women have been there for a long period of time, or if you just start going on Instagram, right, and they don't do the shit where they hide their old stuff, and you start to see their old stuff, then you start to see, like, whoa, you looked a lot, you were half the size, baby. And a lot of your followers might be because you were half that size. But at some point, men start to look at you and be like, listen, you ain't got the juice no more. It's like this, your little sister got the juice. And when I say little sister, I'm talking like your little sister's about 25, 23, 25. I mean, spitting image of what you used to look like, different in the face, definitely different in mentality. Or in some cases, sometimes worse. But anyways, I could go on. I can't. I need to get into this gym and get with my trainer. I was hoping to be here earlier, but fuck. All right, talk to you later. Peace. Love you all.